And anything before we start?
No.
All right, I'll call the jury down.
Hello?
Would you come down, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll begin with another witness, Mr. Richards.
Your Honor, Mr. Schroff is going to be handling this witness.
Okay.
Can you call Jacob Marshall?
Stand, please. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self regard?
I do.
You may be seated.
Sir, will you state your name and spell your last name?
My name is Jacob Marshall, Jacobmarshall.
And Mr. Marshall, do you know Gaige Grosskreutz?
I do.
Would you say that he's a friend of yours?
I would.
And has he been a roommate of yours in the past?
Yes.
Okay. And from what period of time to what period of time were you guys living as roommates?
I want to say maybe 3 months up prior to the incident of, I don't recall exactly that happened, but probably like 3 months prior to that, he was living with me up until.
So if I said May of 2020, sound fair?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And after August 25th, 2020, did you visit your friend Gaige Grosskreutz in the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember when you visited him?
I believe the following day after the incident happened that night, I went to see him the next day as soon as I could get a hold of his family and stuff. So yeah.
And when you saw him, did you see him in Milwaukee?
Yes.
And you posed for a picture with him in the hospital in Milwaukee, is that right?
Objection, leading.
We've heard that objection quite a bit during the trial, and the suggestiveness is the offensive part of a leading question, and somehow I don't feel from what we've heard already that he's going to lead this witness into an answer, so the objection is overruled.
Did you take a photograph with him at the hospital in Milwaukee?
Yes, we did.
Did you do you have did you at the time have a Facebook account?
At the time, yes.
And photograph for Grosskreutz, did you post that photograph on your Facebook account?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 70 for identification. Mr. Marshall, can you take a look at that? Is that a picture of you and Mr. Grosskreutz?
It is.
Okay, and that's a picture in the hospital that was taken?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to look to the right of the photograph. There's some, not that familiar with Facebook, but there's an entry that you made with your name and then some writing on it. Is that right?
It appears so, yes.
Okay. Can you put up? So this is the Facebook post we're talking about, and tell me if this is fair. It says, I just talked to Gaige Grosskreutz, two. His only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun before emptying the entire mag into it. He said that to you, correct?
No.
He didn't say that to you?
He never said that to me.
You just posted something about your friend, your roommate, that was alive?
I did. Given the circumstances and all the threats I've received on the internet, I've never been put in a position like that. Addresses of ours were posted. My mother was getting inboxed. My sister. It was insane with everything going on at the time. I made a bad remark. I was trying to stick up for my friend at the time who, he didn't know any of this was going on. He didn't see the post or anything.
You're not sticking up for him. You're saying what he said.
No.
Hold on. This post down here should have killed him right then and there. That's you saying that, right?
That is me saying that, yes.
Okay. This post right here is you equating something that Mr. Grosskreutz said to you.
I lied. He never said that. Those words have never came out of his mouth.
I'm going to object, Your Honor. This is asked and answered, argumentative, and leading.
Overruled.
So he never said that. You made it all up.
100% made it all up.
Nothing else. Thank you.
State.
Mr. Marshall, after you learned that your roommate had been shot that night, what did you do?
I actually went to Kenosha trying to figure out if he was alive. My sister was the one that notified me. She was watching his live stream, and I had to figure out if my friend was alive. Even at the time, I had no answers. So I drove from Milwaukee to Kenosha to the first hospital. They were transferring him to a secondary hospital, which then he got flight lifted back to Milwaukee. So I basically drove down to Kenosha to drive back to see him in Freighter, but I wasn't able to see him until the following day, at least, 12 hours at least or plus after the incident happened. So
As you came down to Kenosha, you first went to KMH or Freighter South looking for him, is that right?
yes, it is.
And you got there a few minutes after he'd been moved to another hospital in Kenosha, is that right?
Yes, I don't know the exact second hospital. It's like St. Mary's or something along those lines, something like that.
And then when you went to that second hospital, you got there a few minutes after the helicopter had flown him all the way back up to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I actually was watching him get loaded into the Flight for Life. I kind of assumed it was him, and still I had no idea if he was going to make it. I didn't know the severity of things.
And so then you drove back up to Milwaukee to Freighter there to try and see whether or not your roommate was alive.
Well, yeah, that was a goal, but like I said, I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone. He was obviously anonymous at the hospital. I was just trying to get answers for his mom and his family to make sure, I wasn't sure if my friend was going to make it or not. So I was just, following him around trying to figure it out. But
You were worried, you were scared.
I've never been in that position in my life. It was very traumatic watching, my roommate, best friend get shot. And like I said, I thought he was dead from the second of how everything played out. So, I was very scared, very worried about everything.
On top of being worried about his safety, you were also experiencing people putting his name on the internet, correct?
Yes.
And then all sorts of people who supported the defendant were making threats against him and you, correct?
Yes, I actually believe one of the guys that was sending threats was with the defendant that night. His name is like Dustin Collette or something. He was sending pictures of guns to us. That was just a little things. Old addresses of ours got leaked out. I was in fear for my family and fear for my friends. It was pretty crazy.
So this post where you're talking about emptying a magazine, was that your way of kind of trying to deter everybody from coming after you by letting them know that you guys are armed and ready to defend yourselves?
That was 100% it. Gaige has never said those words. I was trying to stick up for him more or less. That was, looking back, obviously not a good choice of words to say. I put in my emotions of, what I wish would have happened. I guess you could say it that way that night. But those words never came out of my friend's mouth. When I seen him the next day at the hospital, I cried. I was like, I'm so glad you're alive. Kind of let him know the severity of everything going on social media. It was pretty wild. So yeah.
And it's fair to say that even after that, in the year, 14 months since then, you and Gaige have continued to experience threats, harassment online, things like that.
The second I got subpoenaed out of court on Monday, instantly was already getting hundreds of messages, friend requests from people I have no idea. It still goes on to this day. Like, it's insane.
Is your friend Gaige the type of person who would take another life?
No, and that's clearly shows of.
The objection is sustained.
Gaige is a medic,
He is a medic.
a paramedic, and an EMT.
Yes.
Fair to say he's dedicated his life to preserving and healing other people.
Yes, he cares about the wellness and safeties of others.
Nothing further.
Mr. Marshall, you took this post down, did you not?
After getting all the harassment and stuff and instantly seeing that right away, yeah, down immediately.
And you knew from this post, can you bring up the post again? You knew from the post, because the picture on the bottom shows Mr. Grosskreutz with a firearm, right? You see that?
I do.
Okay. So you, out of anger or frustration, you knew that if you said that if his only regret was not killing the kid, you knew that would hurt him, right?
I did not at the time. Like I said, I was trying to stick up for my friend. It was a very hectic thing. I've never dealt with that situation like that. It was bad judgment.
So your method of sticking up for your friend, who you know is possessing a firearm, is to lie about something he said.
And like I said, bad. I was gonna say, like I said, it was gonna be bad. It was a bad judgment, bad call on my part of even wording something like that, and it was out of pure anger. That's really all I have.
Judge, I move 70. I have no other questions.
Any objection?
I have no objection to the exhibit, and I have no further questions.
You may step down, sir. Received.
Your Honor, we would recall Anmal Khindri.
You're still under oath, sir. No.
Okay.
You want me to wait, Judge? Is that what you-
No.
Do you want me to go, or do you want me to wait? Okay, sorry. Good morning. Mr.
Good morning, sir.
And the judge has told you that you are still. The state had called you as a witness back on November 5th regarding this case?
I don't know the date, but yes.
Okay. And do you remember that I was asking you some questions regarding the vehicles, the number of vehicles that had been damaged, the amount of loss that your business had suffered, and information regarding insurance, things of that nature?
True, yes.
And do you recall part of, and I've got a transcript, so I'll be happy to show you if you have questions about what you had said. Do you remember me asking you about I asked this question, can you give me a ballpark, meaning the amount of loss that your business suffered? And you had said that you couldn't remember. I asked you more than 100,000. You said yes. I said more than 250,000, and you said, I do not know, sir. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember saying, being asked this question, and you don't know what the loss from those fires were? Your answer was, I personally never calculated it. My dad does the money part.
Yes, yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
That you still don't, you didn't know at the time what the loss was?
Well, when we arrived on Monday, seeing all the destruction, all the cars, looking at the property, because a lot of oil has lost, it has gone into the asphalt, the soil replacement and all that. So, I mean, we were in shock.
My question to you is, as you sit here today, are you still under oath stating that you don't know and didn't know what the loss was?
Sorry, I cannot remember.
You can't not know what the loss was from your business.
I think you need to restructure that question. Restructure the question. Where's Sister Marcian's pointer? This word order is not acceptable.
Okay.
Okay.
You recall testifying last week?
Yes.
And do you recall when you testified last week, you were asked if you were aware of the total amount of loss to your properties? You remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember you testified under oath that you didn't personally know what the loss was, that you never calculated it?
I personally didn't.
And is that your testimony today?
At the time, I didn't know what the exact loss was.
No, that's not the question. Answer the question he asked, please.
Sorry, please repeat the question.
Is that your answer today, that you don't know what the loss was?
I do have approximation what the loss was.
And did you learn that from the last time you were in court till today?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
It was approximately $400,000.
Okay. I'm going to show you, you provided an interview the day after this happened, is that right? And I'll show you, tell me if you're on the screen.
Guys, remember, there's just all these cars were exploding.
Turn the volume off until we get there. What?
Double volumes. At least I heard that the other day.
Go ahead. Now, those are cars at your lot, right?
At that time, yes.
Is that your brother?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is
Hold on.
your business.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. You play it?
And so obviously it's affecting pretty hard. Yeah.
Is it intended to hear this?
Yes.
Well, I can't.
Okay.
Now, I got my sinus earplug, but can other people hear it? No, okay. I wouldn't think that would control this. I think it's going to be earlier in the system.
It is all the way up. At least on my end, we can see if the TV says turned on.
Because it should be coming, yeah.
We'll just, they couldn't hear it, so if it stand over there.
I can't play it at the same time.
I apologize if you get some of that. I don't know how to make it.
I can't hear.
I can't hear either.
I would think because it is, I thought, connected into the system here.
I don't have. It's all the way up on my computer. That's all.
Okay. Have you got ours all the way up? Is there any place where it's coming in clearly? Are you getting it clearly?
Can you hear on those? Can we turn that TV on? The volume on that TV? If we turn the mics off, that might work.
Is anyone getting it clearly?
Yeah, let's talk. So this is your business, and this obviously is affecting you pretty hard.
Big time. We built this place up from the ground up.
Yeah.
When we started this business back in 2013, About 5 to 7 cars.
7 cars.
I counted. The first day we had only 7 cars. 7 cars.
Yeah. Do you feel like right now with this that you're still Kenosha bound? You're going to stay here in Kenosha and rebuild?
Probably not. Well, the thing is, if there's no government funding or if there's no help from anybody, I'm already broke. Because there's nothing I can do. I mean,
You just said to him, if there's no government funding for this, there's nothing we're going to be able to do, right?
I must have. I don't remember saying that.
You're not disputing you said it.
I must have.
Okay, go ahead.
run a business, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of effort.
And we have to
build
build the capital first
to reinvest it.
Yeah. We would have been at least so happy that, okay, we lost only 5 cars. 10, 15, okay, max 20, okay, 25.
How many cars were lost total, you know?
In total?
Yeah.
In all 3 locations?
137.
137.
137 cars.
Yep.
I heard that there was at least $1.5 million worth of damage.
That was the
Just
first.
2.5 in total.
Just
3
wow.
locations.
2.5 million in total. That's what you said to him the day after, right?
I must have.
Well, you heard it, right?
Yes.
So when you said 400,000 today, is that a lie?
It's not a lie. It's what it is when we, like I said, when we saw that from in our eyes, we were in shock.
Okay.
To be able to, to be able to how to come back from it, we were taking everything in consideration in terms of all the oil, the gas has gone into the asphalt, the DOR. So we're basically putting everything in the consideration to get back on track. That's.
Understand that, but I want you to answer my question.
Go ahead.
My question was, when you testified today under oath that your loss was 400,000, you'd agree that's not what you said on the tape, right?
That is correct.
So what you testified today under oath, that's a lie, right?
It was a mistake
Today?
last time, but in the video.
The 2.5 million is the mistake.
Yes, because we were in shock.
So where'd you come up with that number?
Like I just explained to you, over the property loss, the building, the roof, the glass, we didn't know. We looking at the condition of the lot. I mean, you can clearly see it. The asphalt, the soil contamination. There's DOR involved, so that stuff is not cheap. So we were just approximating it that that's probably how much it's gonna be for us to be back on track.
What, he asked you that he said that he heard it was $1 million or $1.5 million, right? And then you corrected him and said, no, it's 2.5.
Well, that's what I said because of the DOR, and we knew we had to go through the permits again and stuff like that. So I didn't have. It was just the number that was out there, with me being in shock of the damages that has occurred to my dad's business.
You knew the specific number of cars, right?
I didn't remember on last week, but now now it says there.
And it's 137.
I cannot remember what it was in total.
I don't have anything else. Thank you. Oh, Judge, I'm sorry. That was marked as 136 exhibit, and I would move that.
Objection?
No.
Proceed. Cross?
Mr. Khindri, the video that we just saw, do you remember what day that was?
I honestly do not.
Do you remember what day all of those cars burned?
This video, it seems like that was early Monday morning. People said Sunday night the lot burned, but when we came to find out, it was Monday early morning, in between 12:30 2 o'clock.
I just want to make sure we're clear about what we're talking about, Mr. Khindri. We looked at this map when you testified on Friday, and the video we just saw is at this location, the car source on the northeast corner of 59th and Sheridan, correct?
That is correct.
And that is the lot that burned around 2 in the morning on Monday morning.
That is correct.
All of that damage had been done a couple days before the shootings where Mr. Rittenhouse killed people on the night of Tuesday, August 25th.
That is correct.
And your interview there that we watched is hours after the cars had all burned?
Honestly, I don't remember what the time or the date was.
When that property burned, it wasn't just the cars, it was the building too.
Exactly, yes.
There was records, computers,
yes,
business files inside that building,
yes,
that were destroyed or damaged.
Yes.
Did that make it hard for you as or your family to figure out all of your business inventory, the property value, things like that?
Very hard, yes.
Is it fair to say that 6 or 8 hours after the incident, you didn't have a clear picture of the full value of your cars?
That is correct.
I have nothing further.
You didn't have a clear picture on November 5th either, did you? Of this year?
I did not.
Nothing else?
Let me step down.
That's called Kyle Rittenhouse.
We need to do something to take about 5 minutes. Can you step out just into the library here for a sec? Anybody who wants to go upstairs may do so, but this will be less than 5 minutes, I'm expecting. Yeah. Well, wait till the jury's here. Your lawyer has called you to testify as a witness in this case, and I just want to advise you what your rights are. You are allowed to testify if you wish under the Constitution, and no one can keep you from testifying, even your own lawyer, if that's what you want to do. If you do decide to testify, then the district attorney will be allowed to cross-examine you about anything that is relevant to this case. And that, are there any claimed prior untruthful statements? 90608.
What we've had testimony regarding the things he said about not shooting anyone.
No. I'm talking about prior instance of dishonesty under 90608.
No.
Okay. So that's not an issue. The district attorney will also be allowed to ask you if you've got any criminal history or juvenile adjudications. Are there any of that?
Not aware of any.
Okay. And you could be asked about any other crimes, wrongs, or prior events that I think I've ruled on everything that's been presented to me.
You have left the door open on some things, Your Honor.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about it, and nothing, I've not heard anything in the case that would suggest to me that I would change any of those rulings. Unless there's something else on that, I don't need to cover that in terms of a possible inquiry. He will be able to ask you anything which is relevant to this case, germane, pertinent to this case, and you will have to answer those questions, even though it may ensnare you in some other criminal prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question about that at all?
No, Your Honor.
You also have a right not to testify if you don't wish to do so. And if you decide that you do not wish to testify, then no comment can be made on your silence by the district attorney. And I will not comment on your silence unless I am asked by your attorney to do so. And the only comment that I would make on it, if I were asked to do so, would be to instruct the jury that the defendant in a criminal case has the absolute constitutional right not to testify, and that your silence must not be considered by the jury in any manner in deliberation or in reaching their verdict. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that'll be a choice that I would ask Mr. Sharofsky or Mr. Richards at a later point as to what you wanted to do if you decided not to testify, but that won't be an issue if you decide that you do want to testify, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question about this at all?
No, Your Honor.
Have you had enough time to discuss this matter with your lawyers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had enough time to think about what you're doing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think what you're doing is the best thing under all the circumstances?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anybody threatened you or pressured you or forced you in any way with respect to this decision?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody promised you anything in exchange for this?
No, Your Honor.
Is your mind clear today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you feeling all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had anything alcoholic to drink today?
No, Your Honor.
Have you had any drugs or controlled substances of any kind within the last 24 hours?
No, Your Honor.
Any reason I should not accept his waiver?
No, Your Honor, this is consistent with advice of counsel.
Okay. Any
I'm not
questions?
aware of any reason.
Okay, all right then. Anything else?
May I just have a moment to run back to my office real quick? I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yours to come back in, please. Hey. You may be seated. Swear to the witness, please.
Can I ask you to stand, please, and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated.
Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Kyle Rittenhouse, Rittenhouse.
Kyle, where do you reside?
Walworth County.
How old are you?
18.
On August 25th of 2020, did you come to downtown Kenosha to look for trouble?
No.
Would you have shot Joseph Rosenbaum if he hadn't chased you trying to take your firearm?
Objection, leading.
That sounds kind of leading.
Would you... I'll get to it. Are you a high school graduate?
Yes.
What high school?
Penn Foster Online High School.
Are you currently enrolled in any further studies?
I'm a college student studying nursing at Arizona State University.
Who do you currently live with?
My mom and 2 sisters.
Directing your attention to August 25th of 2020, where did you reside?
Antioch, Illinois.
Do you remember the address?
286 Anita Terrace, apartment 104, Antioch, Illinois.
And who did you live with there?
My mother and 2 sisters.
What's your father's name?
Michael Rittenhouse.
Back on August 25th of 2020, where did he reside?
He lived in Kenosha, in the city of Kenosha, in the apartments behind the Pick and Save on 50th. On 50.
Do you have any other family that's from Kenosha?
Yes.
What?
My grandmother, my aunt, my uncle, and cousins all live in the city of Kenosha.
Okay. There's been testimony in this trial about the firearm in question, which has been marked. States 28. You've seen that gun?
Yes.
Before August 25th of 2020, had that gun ever left the state of Wisconsin?
No.
Now, before this event happened on August 25th of 2020, did you have any hobbies?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you like to do.
I was a swimmer. I enjoyed working. I was a lifeguard. Hanging out with friends, going to the beach. Just normal teenage stuff.
Were you a member of any groups, organized groups?
Yes.
What?
I was a police explorer for Grays Lake Police Department, and I was a firefighter EMT cadet for Antioch Fire Department.
Did you have any training in life-saving, anything like that?
Yes.
What?
I was a certified lifeguard. I am a certified lifeguard and swim instructor. I am certified in Stop the Bleed, CPR, AED, automatic external defibrillator, and basic life support.
Okay. On August 25th of 2020, where were you employed?
I was furloughed at the YMCA in Lindenhurst, Illinois, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I was working at the Recplex in Pleasant Prairie.
Okay. Recplex here in Kenosha County?
Yes.
Now, on the night of the 24th, did you come to downtown Kenosha?
Not downtown, but I came to Kenosha for work.
Okay. And after your shift at work completed, where did you go?
I went to Dominic Black's stepfather's house. I believe his name is Scott Dickhart. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Okay. And who is Dominic Black in relationship to you?
Him and Dominic Black and my sister Mackenzie Rittenhouse used to date.
Okay. And on the night of the 24th, were you aware of anything going on in Kenosha?
I knew there was protests, demonstrations, and riots going on in the later evening.
Okay. And how were you aware of that?
I saw videos on social media, on Facebook live streams, TikTok of. I saw the car source lot being burned down, the car source 1, what we've been referring to. I saw a police officer get assaulted. He had a brick thrown at his head. And I saw the mattress store owner get knocked out, and I believe his jaw was broken and had to be wired shut or something.
And you saw all of that on the 24th?
Yes.
Did you go to downtown Kenosha at that time and try and do anything about that?
No, I did not.
Directing your attention to the late morning of August 25th, 2020, did you have occasion to go downtown?
I did go to downtown in the morning of August 25th.
Who did you go there with?
I went there with Dominic Black, my sister Mackenzie Rittenhouse, and Ray Dickhart.
And describe what you did.
We walked around for a little bit, and then I believe at around 11:30 noon, we ended up at Ruther Central High School, where we ended up cleaning graffiti for about, I want to say, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Showing what's been previously marked as Exhibit 131. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Could you describe what you see in that photo?
Towards the left in the olive green shirt, that's me, and then to my left, that's Ray Dickhart, and to my right, that's my sister Mackenzie Rittenhouse. And
what are you doing there?
we're cleaning graffiti off of Ruther Central High School.
And were you getting paid to do this?
No, I was not.
And you see what the graffiti says?
Yes.
And you do what it said as you were cleaning it off?
Yes.
I won't repeat it. After you were done doing that, what did you do?
We were walking, and we went to the car source lot, the first location, and we were looking at the destruction of the burnt cars, and we saw the owner, Sam and Sal, I believe that's what they told us their names were.
And you saw, when we say car source, the one that you met Sam and Sal at is what we've been referring to as car source number 1?
Yes.
And that's the one that they just played a video of all the burnt out cars?
Yes.
Did you have any discussions with Sam and Sal?
Briefly, I offered my condolences, and I said if there's anything I can do, please reach out to me. He gave me his number. I gave him my number, and
you were with Dominic Black at that time?
I was.
And your sister?
Yes.
And what did you do after that?
After that, we walked back to, I believe, we parked our car by, you see the parking lot?
Do you have the pointer up there?
Yes. We parked our car right in this parking lot in that corner, somewhere over there.
I can't see that far, I'm sorry. You're referring to the parking lot, which is at the corner 59th and Sheridan. It would be the southeast corner, correct?
Correct.
And you're pointing the dot. You parked closer to 8th Street, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you can put the pointer down. And whose car did you get there in?
Dominic Black's.
And when you left, where did you go?
Once we left that parking lot, we went to Dominic Black's stepfather's house again, and we hung out there for a little bit.
Okay. And do you know who Nick Smith is?
I do.
And did you have any contact with Nick Smith that afternoon?
Later in the evening, around 3:30, 4 o'clock, Nick Smith called me and Dominic.
And when he called you, what was the nature of the call?
At first, Nick Smith wanted us to drive him to Chicago by O'Hare Airport, the suburbs of Chicago, because he wanted to buy a bulletproof vest. And Dominic said, okay, we'll drive him. And then he said, okay, I need you to pick me up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay. Did you go and pick him up eventually?
Yes. We actually, before we picked him up, we went to Jelensky's.
Okay. What did you do at Jelensky's?
We bought, Dominic wanted me to buy 2 rifle slings.
And did you?
I did.
One was for what?
One was for my rifle, and the other one was for Dominic's rifle.
Okay. And why did you care about your rifles that evening?
The reason for the slings were just so it's like a retainer, so if I'm helping somebody with first aid, I can just like dangle my rifle behind me, and I don't have to worry about somebody just randomly going and picking it up off the ground, just as like an extra measure so it won't be taken from the ground.
And What time did you go to Jelensky's?
I want to say about 2:30, but I don't know exactly for sure.
Okay. When did you first have contact with Nick Smith?
3:30. 3:15.
Okay.
3:15 through 3:30.
And was there any discussion regarding car source at that time?
Yes.
What?
Nick Smith, once we picked him up, we drove. He wanted to go to a bank to withdraw money. The bank was closed, and then he was like, hey, would you guys like to come with me and help watch over the car source, make sure there's no fires or anything? And Dominic said yes. I agreed. I said okay. And then I said, here, Nick, I don't really need my bulletproof vest. I'm going to be helping people with first aid, so I gave him my bulletproof vest.
And by you giving him your bulletproof vest, did that stop the need to go to someplace by O'Hare Airport?
Yes.
Okay. And why does a 17-year-old kid have a bulletproof vest?
It was issued to me by the Grays Lake Police Department.
Okay. You didn't purchase it?
No, I did not.
And after you gave him your bulletproof vest, where did you go?
We went back to Nick Smith's house where we parked Dominic Black's car.
And then what did you do?
We walked from Mr. Smith's house. Once we parked at Nick Smith's house, we walked from Nick Smith's house to the car source 1, cutting through the Ruther Central backside parking lot, because Nick Smith lives on the same street of...
You don't have to say where Nick Smith
Okay.
lives. He lives within walking distance from here?
Yes.
Okay. And so you go to car source 1?
Yes.
And that's the burnt out one?
No, car source 2, my bad, across the street.
Okay. And at car source 2, that's where you spent most of the evening?
Yes.
Okay. When you first got to car source 2, the one at 59th and Sheridan, what happened?
The owners were there, Sam, Sal, and his father, and I believe, I think it was his uncle there also. He was driving a van of some sort.
Okay. And what was the discussion?
Sam and Sal thanked us for coming out to help. And then Sal said, hey, why don't you guys hop in my car? If I remember correctly, it was either a white or black BMW or Mercedes. I don't recall exactly.
And why did he want you to get in his car?
He was going to drive us down to car source lot number 3.
Okay. And did you agree to get in his car?
I did.
And who went to car source number 3?
Me, Dominic Black, and Nick Smith.
And who was driving?
Sal.
And when you got there, what happened?
We got out and we hung around for a couple minutes, and then some people showed up. I now know who they are, but at the time I didn't.
Okay. Can I have your please? Show what's been marked as Exhibit 3030. Do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And can you, Your Honor, can you go up there, please, and point out, can you point out the people who you knew before that picture was taken and name them?
Yes. This is... This is Sal, the owner. This is Ryan Balch. This is Joanne Fiedler. This is Justin Hamilton. This is Dustin Colette. This is Nicholas Smith. I don't recall his name. This is me. And this is Dominic Black.
Okay. We've heard testimony. You can have a seat. We've heard testimony about you, Nick, and Dominic. You knew those individuals before August 25th of 2020?
I knew Nicholas Smith and Dominic Black.
Okay. You did not know the owner of CarSource previously?
I did not.
Was he being nice to you guys? Was he happy you were there? Was he mad at you for being there? Describe it.
He was happy we were there.
Okay, and you heard their testimony, the two owners, I believe that was Friday afternoon.
I did.
And did they give you permission to be there?
They did.
And the other individuals in this photograph, some of whom have testified in this trial, 10 minutes before this photograph was taken, did you know any of them?
I did not.
Had you ever spoken to any of them?
No.
And when you were there, what was the idea? Was there a plan? What was going to happen?
Yes, the plan was to, I went down there to provide first aid. I brought my orange first aid kit, the fanny pack, and I also brought my Pelican box, which was filled with first aid stuff by my feet to provide first aid.
The orange box by your feet you refer to as a Pelican box?
Yes.
Did you have that before the 25th?
Yes.
Was it stocked?
Yes.
With things that you had bought and brought?
Yes.
And do you go with that every day, or is that because of the situation?
It was in the trunk of my car.
Okay. And the fanny pack, what's the situation with that?
It was my work bag. I brought it to work with me, and I would put it under my lifeguard booth.
Okay. And that had first aid supplies?
Yes.
Now, after the meeting here at 63rd and Sheridan Road, what's been referred to as Car Source 3, what happened?
After the photograph, I believe, I don't recall exactly, but there was about 2 or 3 vans that pulled up, like big vans with people inside of them.
Okay, and what was their role in this evening?
Well, they showed up and they wanted to protect the business, and I didn't really have a say in what everybody was doing. I was just there doing my first aid stuff, and then Ryan Ball said, hey, why don't you guys stay here, and we'll go down to the car source number 2.
Okay, and so the people, a group of people was going to stay at car source 3, and the people depicted in this photograph were going to go where?
Car source 2.
And is that what happened?
Yes.
And so at that point then, Sam and Sal had coverage, for lack of a better word, at both of their businesses to protect the property, correct?
Yes.
So you get down to car source 2, did all of these people go there?
Yes. Besides Sal, the owner, he did not.
Okay. During the night, was Sam and Sal there?
They were not.
They left you guys there?
Yes. I believe Nick Smith was in contact with them throughout the night. I'm not certain, but I believe they were.
And you get down there, were you able to get in and out of the business?
Yes.
How?
Sal, the owner, actually gave Nick Smith a set of keys.
Did you personally see that?
I did.
Did he give you any other direction regarding any equipment or anything like that?
He let us know where, like, the power washers and the fire, I think there was a single fire extinguisher in the building and some hoses, the hose hookups, just in case there was any fires we needed to put out at the lot.
Anything else about the roof?
He showed I believe it was Dominic Black and Nick Smith, the 2 ladders that were there to get up on the roof.
Okay. And did you guys use those ladders?
I didn't personally, but the people that were on the roof did.
Okay. And you saw them use those ladders?
I didn't see them, but that's how they got up there.
Okay. Where were you predominantly at car source 2?
I was in front of the car source 2.
Now, during the night at car source 2, did you stay there the whole time?
No, not the whole time.
When you would leave car source 2, what were you doing?
When I left, I was with Ryan Balch, and we would go out and ask if anybody needed any first aid assistance, and we would see if there were any fires, and we would put them out.
Okay. Did you personally put out any fires?
I did.
Where?
I put one out at the church.
Can you use a pointer?
So right here was where there was the demolishing. They were breaking some stuff down. But right here, I believe there was another building with an alleyway. It was either right here or right here. I don't remember fully. But there was a fire down the alleyway where they were trying to set the building and church on fire, and me and Mr. Balch, and I believe somebody else was with us. We went to go put that fire out.
Did you put it out?
We did.
Then what did you do?
Around that time, we saw Ruther Central High School on fire, the front doors, and we were walking north down Sheridan Road to go put the fire out. And then somebody else put the fire out before we got to Ruther
When
Central
you
High
say
School.
the front, is that right here on Civic Park?
No, sorry, that's my mistake. You're walking north on Sheridan. It's the side of the building on Sheridan Road towards the left when you're walking north.
In the general area where you had tried to help remove graffiti earlier?
Yes, in that photo to the right.
Okay. And during the evening, was there any friction between your group and protesters / rioters?
No. The only type of stuff that happened was the person that attacked me first threatened to kill me twice.
Okay. And the person who threatened to kill you, we now know was Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
Before August 25th of 2020, had you ever seen him before?
I did not.
Had you ever done anything to upset him?
No.
Now, you said he threatened to kill you twice.
Yes.
Describe the first time.
The first time was me and Ryan Balch were a little bit north, towards the north corner of 59th and Sheridan, and Mr. Rosenbaum was walking with a steel chain, and he had a blue mask around his face, and he was just mad about something. Me and Mr. Balch were asking people if they needed medical help, and then he screamed, sorry for my language, he screamed, "If I catch any of you fuckers alone, I'm going to fucking kill you."
And that was directed at you and Mr. Balch?
It was directed at both of us, what I believe.
And there was a second occasion where he threatened you?
Yes. The second time was outside of the car source. And I don't know if it was directed towards me, but I heard it. He said to, I believe it was Joanne Fiedler, Dustin, Colette, and another guy. He was screaming. He said, "I'm going to cut your fucking hearts out and kill," I'm not going to repeat the second word, but "kill you," N-words.
Now, did you ever see Mr. Rosenbaum doing any physical property damage?
I did.
Where?
I saw him with, I now know to be Joshua Zeminski. I saw him tip that trailer over and the porta potty. I saw him do both. And I believe he tried to start the porta potty on fire. I don't know. I don't think he succeeded. But then I saw him with Mr. Zeminski. He was either helping start it or he was like throwing stuff on it. I don't know which one he was doing.
Where did you originally see that trailer?
That trailer was in the St. James Church parking lot. Sort of like right over here in like the backish corner, what I remember.
And did you see how it got from there to where it was put on fire?
It was pulled.
By whom?
It was several people that pulled it into the street, but I can't tell you definitely who pulled it into the street.
And you went down there and saw them starting a fire?
I didn't go down there. I was at the corner of the car source lot.
Okay. And you referred to Mr. Zeminski. Before August 25th of 2020, had you ever met Mr. Zeminski?
I have not.
Did you ever meet him since?
I have not.
Now, when you first saw Mr. Rosenbaum, was his top half of his body clothed or unclothed?
He was clothed with a blue mask the first time I saw him. Yeah, blue mask.
And what color was his shirt, if you remember?
A dark red-ish color.
Now, did you provide medical help to anyone?
I did.
Describe a couple of those occasions.
The first time I provided medical help to someone was this lady. I think she sprained her ankle or twisted it. I don't know exactly. I'm not an expert on x-rays, or I wouldn't know. She hurt her ankle and she was being carried by two gentlemen. And I said, hey, before that I was just pepper sprayed, but I was like, hey, do you need help? And she said yes, and I said, okay, let's go into the car source where I was helping people. And I wrapped her ankle, and then she went on her way. And I let her know there was a hospital. If you go, I want to say southbound Sheridan, across the street from car source 3. I let her know that the hospital was over there, and she should go get it looked at.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
What?
Somebody threw a chemical bomb. Actually, right after I heard the "I'm going to cut your hearts out" from Mr. Rosenbaum. I don't know who threw it, but somebody threw a chemical bomb, and Ryan Balch had some effects of it. So I helped Mr. Balch with being able to breathe, and I helped flush his eyes out and had him drink some water.
Okay. You in the answer to the question just before, you said something about being pepper sprayed?
I did.
And where did that happen?
That happened at the car source, I believe it's the first time a big crowd of people were over there. I was pepper sprayed by somebody that was in the crowd. I don't know why, but I was pepper sprayed.
Did you do anything in retaliation?
I did not.
Now, directing your attention to later in the evening, did there come an occasion where you had contact with Mr. McGinnis?
There was.
And before this evening, August 25th, 2020, did you ever met or spoke to Mr. McGinnis?
I have not.
And you and Mr. McGinnis and Mr. Balch go someplace?
Yes.
And describe that.
I get done with my interview with Mr. McGinnis, and I asked Mr. McGinnis, no, I don't ask him. I said, if you want to come with us, that's fine, to document and film me and Ryan helping people. And he said, yeah, sure, and he followed behind us.
And in that tape for Mr. McGinnis, there's talk about you being an EMT, correct?
Yes.
Are you an EMT?
I am not.
You have first aid and other training?
I do.
And you go to south on Sheridan Road?
Correct.
You cross 60th and Sheridan Road?
I believe we stay just to the right going south on Sheridan Road.
Okay, and eventually you cross Sheridan Road?
Eventually.
And were the Bearcats there yet?
No.
Set up stop people that you were aware of?
Not that I was aware of. I just know they were parked right there and people were throwing rocks at them.
Did anybody tell you not to cross that line? You wouldn't be able to go back?
Not until later in the evening.
Okay. You cross that line, and where do you go?
We continue straight in a southerly direction down Sheridan Road.
Okay. Were you going any place in particular?
No, we were just going to see if anybody needed medical help, and I looked at a guy's shoulder on the way there.
Okay. And you finish with the guy's shoulder, and you continue on, and what happens?
I continue walking in a southerly direction down Sheridan Road, and then as I'm walking, I believe you guys have been referring to him as Yellow Pants. He said he said something to me. I believe it was, you were the one that pointed your rifle at me with the laser pointed at me. I believe that's what I heard. And I didn't. That's the first time I saw him that night, so I was confused. So I said I did, and then I continued to walk away.
And was the did an admission that you did it, or more of a statement with a question?
It was a sarcastic remark.
Okay. Did you engage with him any further?
No.
And from there, where do you go?
There I continue walking in a southerly direction, merging towards the middle of Sheridan Road.
Okay, at that point, do you become aware of anything?
In about a couple, as I'm walking, I start to look because I realize Mr. Balch is not with me anymore.
Okay, did you continue on your way down Sheridan Road without Mr. Balch?
No, I actually went to go look for Mr. Balch in the Ultimate gas station parking lot.
Okay, when you went to the Ultimate gas station parking lot, describe what was going on there.
There were a lot of people there. I don't really know what was going on. I was just focused on trying to find Mr. Balch. As I was looking for him, couldn't find him. I said, okay, no problem. I'll just go back to the car source number 2.
Okay, and describe what happened as you did that.
As I did that, I received a phone call from Dominic Black.
Okay, let me back up. Were you able to get back to car source number 2?
No, I did not.
Describe that.
As I was trying to get back, the police stopped me. Well, didn't stop me. They told me, I believe they said something along the lines of to not go down there. And I was telling them, hey, I need to go down there. That's where I'm at, that business. I don't remember exactly how that conversation went, but they wouldn't let me go back to car source lot number 2.
So you weren't able to get back to car source 2?
I was not.
Did you disobey the police's order?
No.
And you're alone, you're stuck on the other side of the police line from the car source 2, where do you go?
I go to where there's other people at the gas station, protecting the gas station, and I go there because I believe that's the safest place to go because there's other people there. And
at that point, were you able to find Mr. Balch?
I was not.
Well, you're at the Ultimate gas station, I think we've been calling it?
Correct.
Point it out, just there's no...
Right there, the Ultimate Convenience Center, diagonal from the Gulf gas station.
Okay. And when you were there, what's the next significant thing that happened?
Dominic Black calls me and he says, Kyle, I need you to get down to the car source lot number 3. The cars are being bashed in. They're setting all the cars on fire. I need you to go and put the fires out.
Okay. And did you do anything as a result of that phone call?
I did.
What?
At the Ultimate gas station, I asked, I don't know who he is, but I asked an individual if he could come with me and if I could have a fire extinguisher to put out the fires.
Were both of those requests satisfied?
One of them were.
What?
I was given a fire extinguisher, but he said he can't come with me, and he said he believes there's already people down there helping protect the business.
Okay. And what did you do then?
I start running towards the car source lot number 3 to put out the fires, pausing occasionally to catch my breath and walk.
Okay. On the way to car source 3, did you have any interaction with Mr. Rosenbaum?
I did not.
Did you speak to Mr. Rosenbaum?
No.
Did you notice Mr. Rosenbaum doing anything as you went down to car source 3?
I didn't notice Mr. Rosenbaum until he came out from behind the car and ambushed me.
Okay, I'll get to that. Did you run the whole way?
No, I didn't.
Okay. You had your gun, correct?
Yes.
And you had a fire extinguisher?
Yes.
And you had your medic?
My medical bag, yes.
And were you asking people about medic at that point?
I was asking people if they needed medical help as I was getting down there.
Did you receive any responses?
No, I didn't.
Describe your approach to car source number 3.
As I'm walking down Sheridan Road, I hear somebody scream, "Burn in hell," and I reply with friendly, friendly, friendly. to let them know, hey, I'm just here to help. I don't want any problems. I just want to put out the fires if there are any. I continue walking, and then I noticed the Duramax. I noticed a flame in the back seat of the Duramax, and I stepped towards the Duramax, and as I'm stepping forward, I believe his name is now Jack. He steps in his hand, and as I'm walking towards to put out the fire, I drop the fire extinguisher and I take a step back.
Okay. When you step back from Mr. Zeminski, what's your plan?
My plan is to get out of that situation and go back north down Sheridan Road to where the car source lot number 2 was.
And did you get back? Were you able to go in a northerly direction?
I wasn't.
Describe what happens.
Once I take that step back, I look over my shoulder, and Mr. Rosenbaum was now running from my right side, and I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Zeminski, and there were there were 3 people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what I... That's what I run.
We're going to just take time for our break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir. We're going to take a break about 10 minutes, and please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial. Let's aim for 10 minutes, but it'll probably be a tad longer.